In this video, I'm going to show you how to update existing contacts by importing an Excel file. We're going to create a data map for updating contacts, we're going to update the price list just as an example for existing contacts, and then we're going to tag contacts and add notes, all using Excel import. So let's say I'd imported a load of contacts, but when I did that, I got the price list wrong. Instead of updating each contact individually, you could either use the batch update, which are these buttons along the top, and the menu here, or you can import a spreadsheet, which will do the same thing. The spreadsheet update process will let you modify more fields than this batch process will on screen. So to make it easier to see the price list we're updating, I'm actually going to add the price list column to the contact list. So hover over your name, go to My Preferences, and then in the contact screen columns, choose Price Group, and save. Next time you go to the customer list, you'll see their price list on the right hand side. So I want to update all of these customers to the wholesale price list. Unlike products, customers and suppliers don't have a SKU, so what we need to do is identify them by some other way. If you're exporting contacts from Brightpearl, then you can use the contact ID, otherwise you can use the email address or the contact code. Here's the same list of contacts exported to Excel, where you can see that column 1 contains the contact ID. The contact code is found in the Financial tab under Account Code, and obviously to update contacts using the account code, you need to have these in the system already. The first thing we need to do is create what we call a data map. So from the setup area, go to data/import and then import customers/vendors, or it might say suppliers. I've created a data map called Update Contact Price List, and if I click to edit, we can see that this data map contains just 2 columns. First of all the email address, and secondly the price group. Go to the import screen for this data map, where you can see the columns again confirmed on the left hand side, and the first column is what we're going to use to identify the contact we want to update. Here's the data we're going to import into this data map, and you can see we've just got the email address and the price group. These 2 column headers need to match exactly what the data map says, and under the price group column we're going to import the price list code. So we know our data is good, so we're going to tick to import values, but if you weren't sure about your data, or if you're importing a large list, make sure that you don't tick that and import just as a test. It's good to be emailed a report. When you're updating customers, you don't generally need to add an import specific tag, but when you're creating new contacts, that's recommended so it's easy to find them again if you want to delete them. We don't want to create new contacts, we only want to update. So where a contact does match, we click Update, and then we choose whether they're customers or suppliers. Find your file, and then upload. Once your file's been uploaded successfully, you'll get a green message which says the number of contacts that have been updated. Next time I go to the customer list, we can see that they've all been updated to wholesale. The next thing we're going to do is add a tag to a list of customers. Of course, if you're only updating a few customers, you could actually tag them from here. But in this tutorial, we're going to do this by spreadsheet. Because you can actually choose a tag from the import screen, either from the menu if it's an existing tag, or creating a new one, we don't actually need a tag column in our data map. So what I've done is I've created a data map here with just the email address. We'll tick to import values. We are going to add an import specific tag, and let's just call it Xmas Mailout. We don't need to create contacts, we want to update contacts. Simply find my file and import. This will create an Xmas Mailout tag and add it to all of the contacts whose email address you've just imported. You can then use this later to find these customers by tag. The data file I imported there to tag contacts really was just a list of email addresses. And using the same technique of just a single column import, you can also set the lead source for your contacts, because this is not a column available for data maps. The fields that you can update using an Excel import are shown in the data map edit screen. Most of them are self-explanatory, but I'll just highlight a couple that need a little bit more explanation. The salutation is Mr., Mrs., Dr. and so on, and those need to match the ones that you have available on the contact edit record. The newsletter field is where the contacts are set to receive email newsletters yes or no. The title is the job title. The contact status is one that you need to choose from your pre-configured list of statuses. The price group we've seen is the price list, and then the pairing of note text and note date, which are very useful. You could even import information from a previous system, perhaps even order history that you've converted into text, which is the recommended way of importing order history from your previous software. The contact owner is who the contact is assigned to, and then the address information. Note that you can only update the default address for a contact, not the billing or delivery address. And then finally, any contact custom fields. To demonstrate importing order history, I've created a 3-column file. First of all email, then note text, and then note date. Make sure your note date is in database format, and to do that select the column, go to your formats, choose more number formats, select custom, and then type in YYMMDD and OK. In the normal way, use the import screen to upload this file. When I go to the contact record for this person, we can see the 2 notes that have been added from the import file. To finish off, here are some tips for updating contacts. The process I've shown you applies to both customers and suppliers. Use the contact ID or the email address as the identifier, and it's essential to understand the importance of the company name. There's a separate video that explains more about how contacts and organizations are linked, but essentially contacts with the same company name will be grouped into the same organization, and you can't have the same organization name given to both customers and suppliers. If you're going to be uploading a file with company name column in it, make sure you've watched that video on primary and secondary contacts. And that takes us to the end of the video where we see how to update contacts using Excel.